everyone, and welcome back to the Tracy and Ronald Show, or the Ronald and Tracy Show. This is episode 5 of season 4, right, Tracy?
Yep.
Now, there are some haters out there, which, you know you're doing it right if you got people who are hating on you and saying, don't do that. Do you know what they're saying? So, I wanted to do this segment about redemption. And what is redemption? What is slavery? How are you a slave? And how are all these haters, either they're ignorant slaves who are hating on us because we speak a different language of legal English than they do, or they're terrorists against every living soul, and they'd rather be citizens. And they're sociopathic idiots who have something against us for attempting to break free from this slavery that we've been put into. So what I want to do here is I want to read from the Redemption Manual. And if you look here on the computer, okay, I don't know if you can see this. There you go, you can. This is the Redemption Manual 4.5 edition. All right, and it's in PDF format. Now, I didn't write it, but it's published by, you'll see there, the American Bulletin, or published by the Americans Bulletin. How to Become a Secured Party Creditor. Understanding the Matrix and Taking Commercial Control. So all you haters who are slaves, this isn't for you. You're stupid and you want to be slaves.
Let's not call names.
All right. I'm sorry.
How about ignorant?
Ignorant. You're ignorant. You might be smart, book smart about some ridiculous things that the Department of Education has indoctrinated you into memorizing. And you think that the Department of Education is a good thing, and the Department of Education is really a department of the United States of America Corporation that has taken over the United States through Northern Command. And I worked in the intelligence community, and I've said this before, I had a top secret clearance for 13 years, and Northern Command has an area of responsibility of Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and they have a J2, and that J2 conducts surveillance in all forms: human intelligence, signals intelligence, electronic intelligence, measurements and signatures intelligence. In fact, measurements and signatures intelligence is called MASINT, and everything puts out a signature. So they are able to capture all signatures coming from everything, like your computer, your cell phone, your automobile, everything. They have everyone in the United States under surveillance as part of their job as a command, a corporation controlling everything that you do. So I just want to read you the preface from the Redemption Manual here. And this is the 4.5 edition, published a few years ago. And if you're interested in getting one for yourself or calling them about this, it's published by the Americans Bulletin, P.O. Box 3096, Central Point, Oregon 97502, and their phone number is 541-779-7709, and you can order copies of this book for $115. So the production editor is Robert Kelly, cover design Nicholas Beeson, interior layout Marianne McCutcheon, and the printing history, it shows here, this 4.5 edition is from 2008. All right, I have to read you the preface, and this is something that you all need to hear, especially you ignorant people who have been brainwashed by the Department of Education and who have served in the military, and you don't know what you're serving, which is a corporation that is a sociopathic, psychopathic, warmongering machine that has commands all over the world and have everything under surveillance. You think Edward Snowden and his NSA whistleblowing was a big deal? Well, that's just a distraction to keep you from realizing that the United States has been invaded and infiltrated by Northern Command, www.northcom.mil. They exist. Look it up. They even conduct a exercise called Jade Helm that happens in the United States, and it's urban warfare on how to take over U.S. cities. So I'm going to read the preface right here. See it? Here we go. And it's just a couple minutes because I want to keep this under 10 minutes or maybe under 15 minutes. All right? Preface. It would be useful at the outset for us to share with you our fundamental assumptions and motivation for writing this manual and the important results and benefits that we hope you will realize in your study of redemption. The subject of redemption is complex and involves the disciplines of history, government, commercial law, statutory procedure, banking and finance, real estate, and diplomacy. Each of these subjects is highly technical and has its own specialized language. To cover all of them in a single manual, and this manual, by the way, is 682 pages. To cover all of those subjects in this manual would, of course, be impractical. Therefore, out of necessity, we have set our goal in updating the Redemption Manual 4th edition to present a high-level overview of core concepts that we hope will offer you a clear understanding of what redemption is and how it might be useful to you, ignorant slaves. I added ignorant slaves, and you know who you are. Let's continue. The war that is raging in the world is a war to influence what you think and ultimately how you act. You can control any group, no matter how large, if you can shape their opinions, perceptions, and belief system in such a way as to distract them from knowing or understanding the fundamental reality in which they are enmeshed, a prison without bars. This is the ultimate form of leverage. Here's the summary of what happened. A group of men, parentheses, who wish to remain anonymous, close parentheses, through their agents, parentheses, employees of the United States, Inc., and their subcorporations, close parentheses, they began under the Lincoln administration to quietly hijack the Constitution and the three branches of the constitutional republic. A quasi-governmental corporate takeover was then engineered to take control of the 50 states, the banking system, and the coining and printing of money. A civil war, a bankruptcy, and the confiscation of the wealth of the nation were sponsored in order to create a context, parentheses, read that as emergency, a context for the enslavement of the formerly sovereign people of the 50 formerly sovereign states under color of law. The icing on the cake was that in 1938 the rulings of the Supreme Court were then partitioned to prevent the invocation of any law based on the common law. Now, I'm reading Civil Procedure right now, which is a legal textbook for studying for the bar exam, because I'm learning legal English more and more every day, and I'm studying for the bar exam. And I want to learn what the lawyers know, because I want to be able to defend myself sui juris in a court of law, and I want to be able to understand what the president or the CEO of the US of A Corporation is saying on television when he's saying those words like citizen, resident, domiciled, things like that. So the icing on the cake, in 1938, the rulings of the Supreme Court were then partitioned to prevent the invocation of any law based on the common law, and to be replaced by the Uniform Commercial Code and courts of international contract law, admiralty law. The coup d'etat is that most of you don't even realize that you have personally aided and abetted by your own ignorance of history and the law, signed and acted yourself into this system of commercial slavery. You do this every time you get a job, get married, give birth, register your car, take out a mortgage, use Federal Reserve notes, or join the military. Welcome to the same old world order. We have seen the enemy, and the enemy is us, US of A, you ignorant people. If this is news, congratulations. You are a successful mind control subject. So if you didn't know this before, well, now you know it, and there's no reason for you to be ignorant. So if this is news to you, congratulations. You have been and are a successful mind control subject or slave. If you think you are a landowner in America, take a close look at the warranty deed or fee title to your land. You will almost always find the words tenant or tenancy. The title or deed document establishing your right as a tenant, not a landowner, has been prepared for transfer by a licensed bar attorney, just as it was carried out within the English feudal system that you may have presumed yourself to have escaped from in 1776. If your goal is to recover what has been stolen from you, It will be necessary to redeem yourself from living a life of false perceptions. Redemption is the path of waging peace with your adversary. It is the path of turning the fraud that has been perpetuated on you to your advantage, so that you can control your property and prevail in any venue involving agencies and employees of the state and federal government. This manual offers you the opportunity to move from the ranks of debtor-slave on the plantation to the elevated status of secured party creditor. We wish you success in redemption. Okay? So, a lot of you have been living lives of false perceptions. And some of you are sick and dying, so it won't matter soon for some of you ignorant slaves. But for those of you who are still vital and you want to live a life of control instead of slavery, then I'm planning on reading parts of this, important parts of this manual in every episode of the Ronald and Tracy Show or the Tracy and Ronald Show. All right, so I wanted to get that out to you. Also, be careful with using your Federal Reserve account right now, because if you're still under the jurisdiction of the United States of America Corporation by being a person, an individual, a resident, a citizen, or domiciled, then you're still under their jurisdiction and they can still haul your vessel off to jail because you don't control your vessel. You don't have your certificate of live birth, you're under admiralty law, you have not done the proper paperwork yet to make yourself a living soul instead of a person, individual, resident, citizen, or domiciled. So, before you put yourself in legal jeopardy by making purchases or payments with your Federal Reserve Bank account, it's important that you first protect yourself with the proper paperwork. I personally have started that paperwork process. I've sent out for my U.S. passport, and when I get that back, I'm going to update it as a U.S. national passport. Then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take more steps that I have learned from sedm.org and their Path to Freedom document. And on the next episode, or one of these following episodes, I'm going to read the list of steps in order for you to understand how to become a non-person, non-citizen, non-resident, non-individual, non-taxpayer, non-domiciled. And you'll become a living soul and a sovereign. That way, no person acting under the color of law can come and haul you away, because you will be the king of your castle, and there will be nobody who holds any jurisdiction over you. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of the Tracy and Ronald Show, or the Ronald and Tracy Show. We've taken down a few episodes because we wanted to leave certain people out of it, because we don't want to jeopardize anybody. Tracy and I are going to be doing this on our own, and we want to keep it isolated to us so that we don't jeopardize anybody else's legal status. And that's fair, and I totally understand that. All right, thanks, all of you ignorant slaves and all of you enlightened people, or enlightened living souls, for watching and tuning in. Spread our videos wherever you can. Tracy says hello. Say hello, Tracy. All right, she said that. She's so funny. All right, peace.